G'day, I'm Tom Ellis from Mount Gambier, South Australia, and the property you're currently on today is Coola Station. I'm the 5th generation to come home and obviously occupy the place along with my father at the moment.
I've been here since 1978. It's an old family property. Our forebears came here in the mid-1800s. It was an extensive run. It's obviously not the size that it was back then. And we've had ProWay in designing some stockyards for us, sheep yards. Originally they did some cattle yards for us some years ago. We're very happy with those. And I handed over the management of the place to Tom some 5-6 years ago. He elected to put in a set of sheep yards, and this is the result, what you're seeing today.
Since the ProWay Yards have been put in, everything seems to flow evenly instead of actually fighting them all day by running into corners, and obviously having sort of smooth edges to allow the stock to flow makes a huge amount of difference for us. 1.5s onwards, we'd like to lamb down around that 10,000, and then lamb down between sort of 2,000 and 2,500 ewe lambs, with about 1,000 ewe lambs sort of dry running through, so it sort of gives us an overall of about 14,000 ewes collectively. The reason for going forward for the ProWay Yards was, I think older yards was sort of in a bit of a rack and ruin, and we're either at that crossroads where we actually do a fair bit of work to the yards, existing yards which were there, or take a step back and redesign it and sort of make it more labour efficient and try and get a few of our efficiencies up on handling stock. We've presently got 8 shearers running, and then off the board we're just basically going through, just checking the soundness of their feet, legs and udders, and then obviously we're giving them a back line at the same time, and then taking any cull sheep out at present. I think with the 8 they're sort of shearing about 1,700 to sort of 1,700 to 1,750 a day at the moment. So it's definitely keeping us busy both ends. We've had to redesign the yards around what the old yards were, and then utilise it to sort of make it as user-friendly as possible. We were a bit apprehensive first up putting such a big bath in, but yeah, I think looking back, I think it's been absolutely fantastic for us. Like, there's definitely your leaders in the group, so once you train an animal to walk through something and then they become familiar with it, it's amazing. There's very little pressure needed. They sort of find their own way through it, and it's a point of exit. So once they know, obviously, there's an entry and there's an exit point and they feel comfortable with it, they seem to flow quite well. Huge amount of flexibility on the diamond yards, especially if you've got 2 or 3 different mobs like shorn to unshorn sheep in the same yard. You can obviously access 2 points from one yard, which gives you that flexibility. And our sheep flow exceptionally well into the diamond yard, and they're always looking for that exit out, so it suits us very well.
It eliminates a lot of lifting of sheep and forcing, because with the 4-way gates it is actually another system of drafting. It takes the physical work out of handling big sheep, or heavy sheep I should say.
The numbers you put through it are so much greater because it's so much easier. Then I don't think you don't maybe drop a labour unit, but you do probably twice as much work in half amount of time. But so yeah, it's funny, it makes it that much easier on blokes that you can actually put so many more stock through in the same amount of time.
Yeah, we wouldn't put a set of yards up either cattle or sheep without a roof over now.
It just makes it so much easier that you don't have to worry about what the weather's doing outside. You still do what you set there to do. So the shed's been a huge asset to us.
Yeah, I think it's also looking after your men. You know, it's the better the comfort factor, the better the job will be done. Everyone seems to be a lot happier, and not only for rain, for sun also. Animal welfare is probably the leading factor that's made us upgrade all our facilities. The spin-off for that is it's labour efficiencies for us. It's better for the men. I suppose the reason for selecting ProWay have been in the industry for a long time, and they seem to be, in my opinion, the leaders in a lot of the new technologies, and I like the design, I like the materials, and I found they're a very good company to work with.